On this episode of Captain's Tales, we're angling for the early autumn arrival of the Silver King, the Florida tarpon, and then working the bushes for redfish and snook.
You hear him drumming. Big old belly full of food. Little guy, real clean, probably just came in from offshore. I don't get to do it myself much anymore. Always putting people on fish. On this episode of Captain's Tales, we're fishing for the tarpon. He's ready to go.
Throughout maritime history, there have been experts on the water who knew how to navigate and locate their bounty. These individuals held the secrets to where, when, and how. This still holds true today. Get ready for an angling experience filled with sea secrets, fantastic fishing, and great destinations. For on this show, it's only the captain and the camera. On this charter, we're on the outside shorelines of Estero, Florida, angling for an early autumn tarpon bite with Captain Chris McCubbin.
10, 11 years ago, these fish used to be really, really thick up here, and they kind of just disappeared. And I don't know if it's just we finally decided to come back and look again, but for a long time this was a good area, and they kind of just dried up, and we're north and south, but not right here. And now they're see me back in here good the last couple of years.
The plan today is sight casting artificial bait to rolling tarpon.
Come right off the backside here. Big fish, big fish. Ah! Threw it. Yielded off of there. Killed it. Nope, just threw it. Look what we're left with. Start over. Come on.
Captain Chris knows that even when you hook a tarpon, it does not mean you'll land a tarpon due to their bony mouths, fighting power, and spectacular acrobatics.
Do it again. Threw it again. Still good. Bait buster. Simple
Slow
lure.
rolling the DOA bait buster is the ticket for eliciting a strike from these magnificent fish, and it appears only the tarpon want this bait, which conveniently weeds out the fish we're not targeting.
See if we can keep this one on here.
When fighting a tarpon, extending the rod towards the jump, called bowing to the king, and consistent rod angle pressure is paramount to succeed in landing the fish.
I've never really bent the hook on the ones on the trolling model bait buster. Come on, turn this way. I don't get to do it myself much anymore. Always putting people on fish. Here today. Almost giving in. Got that one hooked right in the corner, right where we wanted. not real long, but he's got a thick back. Walk back this way and get him to lay just like that. Take that last breath of air. See if we can do this. The thing you don't want to do with these tarpon, never put a lip gap in them. Man up, grab him right there in the bottom jaw. You're good. That one finally hooked perfect right in the corner of the mouth. Got a nice, probably 75, 80 pound tarpon here in the fall in Naples. A couple scales coming off there, but got a good girth on him, but not real long. Average size fish, I guess, for this time of year. On the bait buster, real easy method of catching them. When there's sharks and everything else, they want to eat all your live bait, just cast and reel. And he's ready to go. Gonna bump us up. Maybe not. Bud. Find your mama. Slime off here.
We'll be right back with more of Captain's Tales.
It's good. My name's Captain Chris McCubbin. I'm a Naples local here, born and raised. I've been doing this now for about 11 years. I run a Pathfinder 22. Most of my charters are 4, 6, and 8 hours, although I do some extended 10-hour trips in the spring for tarpon. And fish up to 4 people. 3 is more comfortable, but I can handle 4. And today would be a typical 6-hour charter. Go tarpon fishing in the morning. If we can do that the whole entire time, then that's fine. Sometimes you can't based on weather or tides or whatever, but you can get out in the morning and tarpon fish first, and then always fall back on your snook or redfish. Depending on the time of the year, there's trout, there's other things to do. But I fish anywhere from the Marco area all the way to about Boca Grande, with most of my time spent between Estero Bay and Naples Bay. This morning we started off at, I guess we got out here right about sunrise, and you're typically looking for those tarpon to be up on top and rolling. This time of year they could be eating bait a little bit better, where you can actually see the fish really blowing up. Today we had fish that were kind of in tight groups, but not really too tight of groups, and you're just blind casting, casting to where you think they are, reeling a bait buster through there and, hoping for a bite. And I guess about 10 o'clock there, it slicked out calm, tide went slack, and fish disappeared. So you got to change your tactics and go do something else. So we went back into the bushes and beat up on some redfish. All right, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my my basic tarpon setup. It's all pen tackle. We got a Conqueror here for the reel. It's 8,000. I like it a little bit bigger and beef up a little bit more so you're not stretching the fish. As far as the rod, it's a Penn Legion. This is an 8-foot model, 20 to 40. It's got a fast action, fishing 40-pound braid and 80-pound leader right now. Longer rod lets you make a lot more accurate cast and a lot longer cast as far as getting to the tarpon when you're throwing the artificial. And what we're using today is just a simple DOA bait buster. It's a very simple, easy to use lure, cast and reel. This time of year here in the fall, these tarpon get mixed in with mackerel, sharks, bonita, everything like that. So what you're trying to do basically is find something that's everything else isn't going to eat and the tarpon are. And over the last 10 years I found the bait buster to be the best thing to do it. And you'll get some other fish on it that'll eat it, but typically the tarpon are the ones that's going to eat it the best. And basically reel it. When you feel it stop, set the hook, and you're good to go. As far as my leaders for this kind of setup, I just use a spider hitch, a double line there, just to strengthen up your knot, and then I go down here to my actual braid thermometer knot. It's called a Slim Beauty. And what this allows you to do is it's a real small knot. It'll go through the guides if you have to cast it. And about 2.5, 3 feet of 80. If the water gets real clear, you could go to 50 or 60, but 80 is typically what I like to use. With the artificial, a little bit harder to land the fish, but they tend to do good with 80. Can't go much heavier than that. Redfish snook setup, again, all pen tackle. This here is a Penn Regiment. It's a 7-foot, 10 to 17 pound rod, and a 4,000 Penn Battle, 10 pound Invisibraid on there. And this is a basic, light action rod. You're going to catch some big fish on it, but 20 pounds is about as big as you're going to go. Most of the redfish we caught today were in the 3 to maybe 6 pound range, so it's a perfect setup for having fun and just taking it easy on them. You're not horsing them into the boat, but they're not beating you. So this is the basic pen setup here. Battle with the regiment. On the leader here, double line again with a spider hitch, and I just go with a regular uni knot. It's not a fast one to tie. They're not going to pull. It's 100% knot. Simple. If you're in the bushes or get frayed up and you need to retie, you can do that one really quick. It's not as time consuming as the tarpon knot there, the Slim Beauty. Down here it's just a 1-0. This is an Eagle Claw Kale hook. It's kind of a hook that if you're new to fishing and you're not quite feeling the bite, if they swim off with it, they'll get it. If you're good at fishing and you're not used to using a circle hook where you got to just wait for the fish to eat it and reel, this one you can still set the hook, and you're not going to gut hook too many fish there. I think everybody wants to catch a tarpon and has seen tarpon on TV, and to me that's the best fish in this area. And for the people that like to tarpon fish or would like to tarpon fish, typically we start catching them in the Naples area early March, with the peak of the big spring migration happen in April, May, and then slows down towards June. But we're a lucky place down there in that we can catch them all summer. And then basically the only time we really don't do too well on them is August. It's hot. Weather's unpredictable, but again, by mid to late September, they're getting thick with their push back from the north, pushing back to the south. And then some of the best months really to catch them are end of September all the way through October and into November, as long as it's not too cold. Once that water gets below 70, they're pretty much done for the year. So anytime in the early spring to early summer, and then again in the early fall, is pretty much prime time for tarpon, as long as the weather and the tides are favorable. Redfish and snook is pretty much good all year round. Redfish are going to eat 12 months out of the year. Snook, if it's a cold winter, December and January, you'll still catch some, but you're not going to catch as many as you will when the water's warm. If you're a diehard and that's all you want to catch, you can always go at night and catch your snook at night on fly or artificial or bait or whatever else it is. But down in Naples, the southwest Florida coast, we pretty much have 12 good months of fishing where there's always something to catch. If you can't catch redfish, snook, trout, something like that, then it's a pretty bad month to be here. But typically it's good in Naples. Being out in the water probably 300 days a year, it's kind of rare that I get to actually come out and fish on my own. A lot of times I'll just come out and look, not necessarily fish, and see what's going on. So today I got to get out there and hook a couple, and I'd say it was a pretty successful day. I've been on these fish for about a month now, and I don't think I've hooked the first one until today. So my clients have been doing a lot, and I've been watching. So finally I got to hook 4 and got one nice one to the boat, and then went and caught a couple redfish, which has been an average trip up here, a couple hours of tarpon fishing, a couple hours of redfish fishing, and it's good.
As the tarpon bite subsided, Captain Chris McCubbin moved from the outside to the inside mangroves to look for snook and redfish. Real nice orange color up here. Close to a lot of places.
so, 3.5 pounds. Blue in his tail. Whoa. Get another one.
One of the Florida backcountry slams consists of a tarpon, redfish, and snook. And on this charter, Captain Chris has accomplished that slam.
Little guy, real clean, probably just came in from offshore. About 10 of them behind us.
Captain Chris's consistent casting, as we work our way down the shoreline, yields multiple strikes and fish.
Carbon copy size of his brother we just caught. Same size. He's got 3 spots. Typical male snook right there. 20 inches. Cool thing with these guys, you can hold them right here and they'll go completely calm right in your hand. Paralyzes them. Not quite as much color, but you might have a little more size on it. Not quite as orange. It's blue. Good fish though. That's a good one there. Some meat on him.
Captain Chris McCubbin is a man of few words, and like many captains that make a living guiding, his intuition, experience, and athletic abilities come together when finding and catching fish for a very successful day on the water.
Big old belly full of food.
Join us again next week for another episode of Captain's Tales. Visit us online at captainstales.com and give us a like and become a friend on our Captain's Tales Facebook page. Join us again next week for another episode of Captain's Tales and try one more fishing spot online. Log on to www.captainstales.com.